The setup is not ideal. Hello everyone and welcome to or back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Amelia and I do fitness, fashion, beauty, lifestyle videos. So if you like any of that or are interested in any of that, then please hit that subscribe button. I'd love for you to join this little community that I've got going on. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and always supporting me. So yeah. So today's video is going to be a fitness Q&A kind of thing. I did post on my fitness Instagram if you had any questions that you wanted me to answer, because I am always being asked so many questions, and a lot of them kind of overlap with each other. So I thought it would just be a really good idea to film a video where I can just respond and answer as many questions that I can, hopefully answering them and helping you. And yeah, so everything is just in one place. So I've got them on my phone and let's just get into it. Do you eat the same on days you're not training? So yeah, basically short answer is I do. I don't eat the same every single day, but my caloric intake is the same on a training day or a rest day. It does not change because I strongly believe that, well, my coach and I strongly believe that resting days are just as important as training days, and you should always fuel your body and keep that priority on resting days as well, because your body needs that fuel to recover. Your whole body just needs that energy. So I don't necessarily believe that you should cut back how much you're eating depending on your activity levels, i.e. depending on whether it's your rest day or your training day. So I've actually got a lot of questions about my menstrual cycle and my period. Guys, if any of you are watching this, sorry about that, period talk. But yeah, so some people have asked if I struggle maintaining a regular cycle or if I even have a regular period, etc. So if you watch my fitness journey video, I mentioned that I lost my period, oh god, I can't remember when it was now. Yeah, unfortunately I still haven't got it back, but I am 100% on the way to getting that back with the direction that I'm going in. I know for a fact that it can take a very long time to regain your period, unfortunately, if you have lost it in the past, but I just think with patience, consistency and self-belief and good knowledge, I think you can 100% get it back. It just takes time, and I'm going to give my body that time. I'm going to give it all it needs to find its proper functioning again, but I strongly believe that I will be getting it back, and trust me, I will be singing it loud and clear once it returns. But yeah, it's not healthy, it's not good to not have your period. This is not me normalizing it in any way possible, because it's not normal, but I do want to share that, you know, if you are someone who has lost their period, you're not alone. I for one have, and I'm just in the process of getting it back, and I believe that I will get it back. That's period talk. How do you cope with weight gain and feeling increased body fat? Again, this is another one that I always get, and it's understandable, to be honest, because of diet culture and society that we are in. It's hard to come to terms with weight gain, but yeah, I think at the start, I think the first few weeks especially, it was just so overwhelming. Like not necessarily with the physical appearance and like the change that I was seeing in my body, but mainly how much I'm actually physically eating. That was one hurdle to go over. Then the second hurdle was obviously seeing the physical change in my body, and you know, feeling my clothes get tighter, and just seeing less definition in my stomach and all of that stuff. It was hard, but I think every day I just said to myself, like, as in I just kept reminding myself every day why I was doing it, why I started. I reminded myself that my role models are my role models because of who they are and what they've achieved and their mindset in life. Like, it's nothing to do with if they've got abs or not. Do you know what I mean? I just worked out what my priorities are. I worked out what was important and what wasn't important, and I just grew as a person, and in that growth I realized that seeing my body change was a good thing and that I should just embrace it. And I think the more and more times I told myself that, the more times I convinced myself that, and now I genuinely believe that. So yeah, I think it just took time, and that's kind of the one thing that's my answer really. I think how I dealt with it was just through time, like, trusting the process. I stopped looking in the mirror all the time, looking at people online who inspire you, who help you see what the actual important things are in life. I honestly think, because I unfollowed so many people who were encouraging unhealthy motives and just on a weight loss journey, and it wasn't anything personal, but for me, if I wanted to progress in myself and help myself grow, then like seeing people who were trying to lose weight just wasn't going to help me, so I just had to unfollow them, and it helped so much. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. How are you coping with your clothes getting tighter? It holds me back from my goals. So this kind of ties in from the last question. To be honest, I just got new clothes, and as soon as I got new clothes that actually fit me, then it was fine. I didn't feel like that constant uncomfort of my clothes being tight on me, and I didn't like, because if you're wearing clothes that are too tight for you, you are getting reminded 24/7 that you've gained weight. 24/7. And why would you want to do that to yourself? Like, why would you want to consistently remind yourself you feel uncomfortable? So therefore, for me, that would just make me feel like I should just stop putting on weight because my clothes aren't fitting me anymore. But I just got new clothes, you know, you just accept it, and that's it. I know the struggle, but I really do just think you just get new clothes. It's just an excuse to get some new clothes, you know? That's that. How has a personal coach affected your journey through a lean bulk? Okay, so Emma, I don't know if not everyone knows, but I am with a coach who's helping me with my weight gain, and genuinely I give her so much credit for everything. Like, she is just helped me so much, words can't describe. I think just having that person there by your side 24/7, giving you that hype, giving you that motivation you need, giving you that support and that reassurance is just so valuable. So I think, yeah, I can give Emma a lot of credit for the progress that I've made so far, and I would recommend to anyone to get a coach, because it seriously helps you, because there's gonna be times where you doubt yourself, or you just doubt the process, and if you don't have a coach you can easily just go back into your old habits. But if you have a coach, you're held accountable, and you just don't want to let, like for me, I hate letting other people down. So because I've got a coach, I would hate to let Emma down, and that was like one of my motives at the start. Now it's for me as well, like I would hate to let myself down on the progress that I've made so far, as well as Emma. Like, that's letting two people down, so it's not even an option for me to go back into my old habits or anything like that. Like, Emma has just completely helped so much. I want to gain weight but I feel so full after eating. How do you cope? So this was a struggle with me at the start. I definitely had to learn to just literally force food down me and eat when I wasn't hungry, and over time my stomach definitely did expand, so I could definitely consume a lot more food. Like, now the amount I'm eating now compared to how I was eating at the very start is just incredible, and I actually still feel hungry at the end of the night, which I would just never have thought that would even be possible, because at the start I was literally forcing food down my throat, and I was literally like, this can't be how people gain weight, this can't be sustainable, like I can't be living like this is just crazy. And that was like the first 2 weeks, I think, and then my body just definitely adapted because of all the progressive overload I'm doing as well. Like, my muscles really just needed that energy, and that my appetite just responded well with it. And but that doesn't deny that I don't get bloating, because I do. That doesn't mean I don't get bloating, because I do. I do get bloated like everyone gets bloated when they eat. Like it's literally just your stomach expanding because it needs room for the food in you that you've just consumed. So of course it's gonna make you bloat. I've never had a massive issue with that, because I know that that's just completely normal. Like I know it's so temporary. I know the next morning I'll wake up and I'll just be like back to normal. Don't get me wrong, it is uncomfortable. Like you do feel really full. It's just that full feeling. But yeah, I just have like a green tea or a peppermint tea just to help soothe it down. And yeah, I guess that's how I deal with it. Best unexpected thing from gaining weight. Oh, that's a good question. You know what? I think my skin, comments that I'm getting about my skin and my hair, I think that was very unexpected. My skin like just is like glowing every morning, and my hair's just a lot healthier. Like my eyebrows are growing and hair is just feeling strong. I think that was an unexpected thing because I just didn't really put the two and two together. But I mean, if you're undernourishing yourself, of course your skin and your hair and your nails are going to be affected as well. Like anything in your body is going to be affected. So yeah, I think my skin and my hair. I definitely get a lot less spots. Don't get me wrong, I still get spots. I'm still trying to sort that out, but I do get less. So that's a positive thing. When should you progressive overload? Well, you should always progressive overload. So you should progressive overload when you feel like you can do more reps than you did like last week on the same weight. So say, for example, I'm squatting, I don't know, 40 kg one week for 12 reps. And I'm doing, on the 12th rep, I feel like I've probably got 2 more reps left in the tank. So that's like an 80 RPE. So that's like 80% of your full capability of lifting that weight. So yeah, that's me one week. Second week, say I'm squatting 40 kg like last week, but instead of doing 12 reps, I can get 14 reps and still feel like I've got 2 more left in the tank. So that is progressive overload. You've increased your reps the same way. Now for me, I am usually, the way I progressive overload is by increasing my weight. And so say, instead of increasing my reps, that's when I'll know, okay, I'm going to up the weight and go back to 12 reps because I want to stick at the 12 rep mark. I can get 2 more reps with 40 kg. Then I'm going to need to increase that weight to get back down to the 12 reps and stick to my 80 RPE, my 80% RPE. So then I'll go for, instead of 40 kg, I'll go for 45 kg. And I'll try to get 12 reps with that, keeping at that 80%. Does that make sense? You just want to make sure that your form is still right. You don't want to jeopardize your form at all. Next week, I do it again, 45 kg for 12 reps. All still feels like last week. I'm not gonna increase my weight or anything. I'm just gonna stick to that because you don't want to jeopardize your form. That's just an example for the 12 rep thing. You know, it could be 6 reps. That makes sense. I really probably haven't explained that very well. If I haven't, I'll try and explain again, but I hope that helps. So that's when you progressive overload, when you feel like you can just do a few more reps than you did last week, or it just feels lighter, or just feels easy for you. How to go from skinny to build muscles. So I think you mean how to go from being skinny to building muscle. So I think the general rule of thumb is, I mean, it really depends on what you're doing now at the moment. To build muscle, you need to be in a calorie surplus for one. You need to be resistance training because you need to stimulate that muscle growth. So you need to be resistance training and then progressively overloading with that. They're the 2 main things really. Some people still do cardio alongside it, but it's just as long as you're in a calorie surplus, then that's fine. Because your body can't build muscle if it's not in a calorie surplus. Unless you are a complete newbie and you haven't lifted weights before, it is possible for you to gain muscle while still being in a calorie deficit or maintenance. But after a couple of months, your body will plateau and you'll need to then be in a calorie surplus. So inevitably, you're going to have to be in a calorie surplus to build muscle. And you need to lift weights as well. So that's the formula. Are you plant-based? I'm not plant-based, no. I do eat fish and eggs and honey. But I don't eat meat for ethical reasons, and I am trying to completely reduce my fish intake. I do love it so much. I think over time I will be able to, but it's just finding how to and when I feel comfortable with doing that. I think it's really helping me now to eat fish because of my omega-3s, and a lot of my protein intake is from fish. And I know you can get enough protein from a vegan diet, but it just requires a lot of planning and getting used to it. And right now I'm not quite ready yet, but I think and I hope in the future that I will be able to be plant-based. Do you suggest a reverse diet after restricting as a way to gain weight? So a reverse diet is basically where it's mainly used for people who have been in a restrictive phase for quite a while, or they've been in a calorie deficit for a very long time, and maybe their metabolism has been affected negatively, or their body has plateaued and they can't reduce their caloric intake any further. So a reverse diet is when you very, very slowly increase your calories to try and gain a steady level, gain a good maintenance level, and then you can go from there and reduce again if you are still wanting to lose weight. Yeah, that's what reverse diet technically is. You're just increasing your calories slowly to get at a good maintenance level and to just kind of reset your metabolism. And some people find that they lose even more weight when they are in a reverse diet. And if you have watched my fitness journey video, I found myself unintentionally doing that. I was trying to gain weight, but I was doing a reverse diet in theory because I was increasing my calories slowly, and that's when my metabolism completely reset and I was just dropping weight. But yeah, that is a reverse diet. So I would suggest a reverse diet if you are very low calorie deficit. My dream job. Ooh. God, I don't know. There are so many things I want to do. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to, like, one of my dreams is to have a fitness retreat, like run a fitness retreat, have my own fitness retreat somewhere in Bali or somewhere amazing, and be able to coach women, men, anyone, all shapes and sizes, all ages, put them through like not just workouts but like restorative things like yoga, meditation, Pilates, give like cookery lessons and little workshops on how to properly fuel yourself, and like just a whole holistic retreat. I want to be able to do that. Would be amazing. Another dream job is to just be my own boss, be boss ass bitch. Just be a boss, whether that's like with my own company, with my own business, I don't know. Also, yeah, to be a PT, like be a coach, and I am on my way to be, so I can tick that off the list. How often do you increase your calories and by how much each time? So this is so dependent on how my body is responding week by week, how my coach, how Emma, how she sees my progress, how my strength is improving, feeling, if my body is feeling sore, like there's a lot to it, if my digestion is functioning well. But so far, I'm with my 11th week now, I have increased my calories, generally speaking, about 100 week by week, maybe even more as well. But again, that is just from my experience. At the beginning of your weight gain journey, what was the hardest thing? PS, love you. I think the hardest thing, and I hate to admit this, but I think the hardest thing was just coming to terms with what other people are going to think of me, if I'm honest. I just didn't know what response I'd get. I thought I would lose a lot of people on my Instagram because I thought that they were just following me for my abs. I think that was the hardest thing. I don't know, I just thought people aren't going to be interested in me anymore. That's what I was scared about. And that's what was the hardest thing for me to realise, that that wasn't the case. Far from it. That was not the case at all. And yeah, probably just losing definition, I think, because I was so hung up on having abs, and because I thought that's all that people were interested in. But that definitely didn't last long. That was probably one of the first things I overcome as well. I think I just realised, like, look, I'm 23. I know what my priorities should be now. I'm growing as a person, and this is part of my growth. And that should definitely not be one thing to hold me back at all. Okay, I'm gonna do a few more. How much more weight do you want to gain? Generally, I don't have a goal. I've gained about 3.5 kilograms in the past 10 weeks. But yeah, I don't have a goal. I really don't care really about the scale weight. I really just couldn't care less. That's never been something that I care about. I don't ever weigh myself until like this weight gain thing now, until Emma's advised me to, but that's just one factor of the many factors that we look at when we're assessing how many calories I need to increase a week or those sort of things. So yeah, the answer is I don't have a goal. Approximately how long do your workouts last? If I'm doing a leg day, probably like an hour and a half. That includes warming up and cooling down. If I'm doing an upper body day, probably about 40 minutes to an hour. How many times a week do you do ab workouts? It's really whenever I feel like it. 2 to 3 times a week maybe. How to deal with gym anxiety. God, I could do a whole nother video on this. I just think fake it until you make it. Put your headphones in, put on some killer music, whatever music you love, put on that music, put it on full volume, zone out, don't look around. That's how I did it. Also, everyone starts from somewhere. Everyone, literally everyone in that gym has been in your position. They've all had gym anxiety, and you never know, they may still have gym anxiety, but you're looking at them and you're thinking, wow, they're confident, and you know, you don't know, they could be looking at you and thinking the same. So bear that in mind as well. What macronutrients should we increase on a reverse diet? You should never look at just one macronutrient. Always increase your macronutrients like at the same level. I never just look at one. So I all think they have a place, a very important place actually. So the answer to that question is carbs, fats and protein. But to be honest with me, my carb intake has skyrocketed. That is just been so high in comparison to my fat and my protein intake, but that doesn't mean that I haven't increased my fat and my protein intake, if that makes sense. Has gaining weight brought you more positive slash negative feedback from others? Positive, so much more positive. Like generally I haven't got one bad comment from anyone. What do you do when you get really sick of eating but you have to keep going? Like I said, I just trust the process. I remember why I'm doing it. I just remember my body's going to adjust to it, and I just embrace it. Like, I haven't eaten this much of food in forever, so I'm so embracing this right now. I am just loving food. I'm just making the most of it all. And also, like, if I feel sick, I'll just give myself an hour or two just to digest it a bit. If it gets to 11 p.m. and I still need to eat a bit more, then I'll eat a bit more. Yeah, I don't advise anyone to eat until they're physically sick. Absolutely not. Just know your standards, know your levels. If you feel like you generally will be sick, stop. Give it a few minutes, hours, however much you need, and then go back to it. You know, no stress. How don't you lose your motivation? I don't really, this is a tricky one, because I don't believe in motivation as such, because instead I believe in routine. And for me, working out is just part of my routine. It's just my day. Like, it's just part of my day. I don't wake up and lose motivation to shower or lose motivation to brush my teeth, just like I don't lose motivation to work out. Like, it's just part of my self-care routine. That's that. I know that it makes me feel better. You know, don't get me wrong, there's definitely days where I'm like not feeling it, but it is just my routine. I have got a YouTube video as well on how to get motivation. Did you ever suffer from binge eating? No, I'm thankful to say that I haven't ever. I do know that it's very, very prevalent, unfortunately, but it's something that I can't comment on because I haven't experienced that. But if you are struggling, or anyone who is watching this is struggling, please seek professional help. How to deal with rest day guilt. I don't ever get rest day guilt, and that's because I know it's part of my progress. I would absolutely not be able to, like, I would not be getting the progress that I'm getting now if I didn't have rest days. Like, rest days are so incredibly important. It's just as important as your workout days. Do you try and get in protein, fats and carbs with every meal? Yes, definitely. Do you find you have to eat when you're not hungry, or are you always hungry? I do have to eat when I'm not hungry, but also, obviously there's also times where I am hungry, but I'm not always hungry. But I do have to eat when I'm not hungry. Favourite workout to do to grow your booty? Probably hip thrusts, sumo deadlifts, dumbbell step up, anything with a barbell really. I love barbells. Okay, one last one. I'm sorry there's so many, but this video is going to be so long. How many times a day do you work out? Oh, just one. Absolutely just one. If I haven't answered your questions, I'm really sorry. I will do another one of these videos if you do find this helpful, that is. But yeah, I answered as many as I could in the time I have. So again, if you do like these videos, or if you have enjoyed it, or if you have found it helpful, then please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. It really does help my channel, and I know I say this a lot, but generally it does. It helps me so much. So the more exposure I have, the more people I can help, and that's all I ever want in life. I just want to help people. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna love you and leave you, and stay safe. Mwah.